What role does the nervous system play in all of this? Regulate. You mentioned to me prior to us talking today about. I'm sure you've had some amazing guests and conversations over the years too. So not only are you learning because you're reading stuff and you're researching and diving in deep, you're having real conversations with people that are like world changers and really unbelievable in their area of expertise. What have you learned in this realm of like regulating your nervous system or vibrating maybe on a different level?
No, it's everything, right? I mean, our nervous system is literally, it controls what Dr. Caroline Leaf would describe, kind of like our aliveness. Like our being is our nervous system, our spinal cord into our brain, our eyes. That is our nervous system. It controls our heart rate, our respiratory rate, our thinking, our breathing. Everything is controlled within the nervous system. The podcast has been amazing. I mean, selfishly, it's the thing I love to do the most, and I would do it even if I didn't have a business today. But it's also made our program, I think this has been the separator, is yes, it started with my experience. It started with understanding addiction recovery, but now I have 250 experts in all these different realms that we've been able to pull different pieces from. So let's talk about this though, right? Because the nervous system, there's two kind of parasympathetic and sympathetic, right? Sympathetic being fight or flight, elevated heart rate. This is kind of like when we're stressed, anxious. Good to be in those states sometimes. Getting ready for a workout, I want to be like ready to go. I don't want to be
ready for a football game.
Yeah. Now immediately when I'm done with a workout, I want to be able to shift my nervous system into a parasympathetic state. That's where going to be anabolic. I remember talking with Ben Pekulski years ago, 2017. Derek Lunsford, who won the Mr. Olympia last year.
I got to get him on the show. He's a good dude.
He lives locally. I can connect you with Derek. But back in 2017, Ben pointed this out about Derek. We'd be in the gym 6 a.m. down at MI40. It'd be me, Ben, Joe Herr, Danny Vega was there at the time, and Derek crushing it, right? We're rack lifting 500 pounds. We're squatting 450. Derek always had this calm, cool demeanor about him. Like he could amp up for a set of 315 on barbell rows and then immediately just walk off and kind of just sit down and chill, looking like he wasn't even breathing hard. Derek said, watch this guy, because his ability to calm and control his nervous system.
That's what Ben said about Derek.
He said, watch this kid, because his ability to regulate his nervous system is going to make him a weapon in this industry. And this was before he...
I was going to say, this is 7 years ago.
7 years ago. He was big and jacked. He was a pro at the time, but he went on to be the first person ever to win a 212 pro card, and then, or not 212 Olympia, and then won the Mr. Olympia last year. The first person ever to win the Olympia in 2 categories because of his ability to calm and regulate his nervous system. What does that have to do with pornography? So porn is great at calming our nervous system. Why do guys watch porn? I'm anxious. I'm stressed. Financially stressed. I got in an argument with my wife. I'm amped up. Kids are pissing me off. I got to make a tough decision. There's a lot of things in front of me and I'm trying to avoid them. All of those put us into a sympathetic state, a fight or flight response. Well, we can go watch some porn, get a massive dopamine spike, have a release through masturbation. Now we've shifted our nervous system into a parasympathetic. We are now calmed ourselves down. Well, how does this happen though? So the average age of exposure is 8 to 11 years old right now. You know, we're dealing with really the first generation of men that have had access to the internet and have had porn since they were a young boy. So if I'm a young kid, right, I'm 14, 15 years old, and porn gets me excited. Like just the thought of like going on the internet, seeing some naked chicks, like it amps me up. But then I go through the full process. Now I feel calm. What have I done? I've taught my nervous system that when I'm amped up, the pathway to controlling that is porn and masturbation. It deregulates my nervous system. It literally is what most guys use it for. Like guys don't watch porn when they're like sexually turned on by their wives. No, they use it when they're stressed, anxious, tired, feeling alone, isolated, all feelings of sympathetic states within our nervous system. So if we could learn regular real-time tools to regulate our nervous system, things like breathing, things like going on nature walks, things like getting off the internet, getting away from devices and getting out in nature, things that will naturally can be tools to shift us into a parasympathetic state. Now we're developing the tools that when things trigger us over here, we don't need porn to regulate. I've had 2,000 submission forms into applications, right? Consultation forms. What's your problem? Where do you use porn? I'm stressed. I'm anxious, I'm dealing with difficulties at work, I'm fighting with my wife, the kids piss me off. All these are reoccurring patterns. These guys don't see it through the lens of nervous system. They see it as like, oh, I'm just stressed. Well, your stress you're feeling is a byproduct of the state that your nervous system is in. So once you begin to understand that and begin to, like, once again, I say, develop the real-time tools. This is why for the last 18 months, I've jumped in a cold water tub every single morning. It forces me every single day to put myself.
How long are you in?
3 minutes.
Okay.
Right? Just enough.
That's what Rogan says he does it for.
Yeah.
And he says the hardest thing I do every day.
Yeah.
So everything else from there is.
Yeah. Everything
easy.
else. Yeah.
I want to get one. I should do it, right?
Yeah, you should do it.
And there's so many options now too. There's like inexpensive, easy ones that are kind of like look like a 50-gallon drum thing, right?
Yeah.
That you could just throw in your back. I have a big slab out in the back of the house. I could put it back in there, keep it covered, and just throw a bag of ice in it.
I would recommend getting one that has a chiller.
It has a chiller in
So stay
it.
away from the ice, because that was the route I went first, and then I was spending hundreds of dollars every single week in ice. So make the investment.
Okay.
It's going to cost you maybe $1,000 to $2,000 for a nice setup that has a chiller. You don't want to go the $5,000-$10,000 route that Rogan did with all that stuff.
I need the basic.
But I'm telling you, it will change your life. But why I do it, yes, the hard stuff. I like feeling, I like the dopamine.
Right.
But every day I'm forcing my body instantly, first thing in the morning, into a sympathetic state. And then I got to calm myself down over those 3 minutes. I'm just learning how to regulate my nervous system. Now when things don't go well throughout my day, boom, I just know what to do. Like, I know I can think internally, okay, breathe, and I can feel things shifting within me.
Did you go right to 3 minutes in the beginning or no?
I did, but I used to have the ice so it wouldn't get as cold. So mine gets down to 37 degrees now, which is super, super cold.
So I would probably, what I've heard from other people, start a little higher.
Yeah, start 46, 47. Anything below 50, you're going to get all the physiological benefits.
And go for a minute.
Yeah, start with a minute.
And then start building up from there and try to get to 3 is probably a good goal.
A part of our Scottsdale trip this past week, and we did a Wim Hof seminar. So breathing for about 2 hours. They did all.
he's crazy.
Wim wasn't there. It was one of his instructors, but it was all his science, all that stuff. We did this radical 3-phase breathing experience, which people were having psychedelic type experiences. I mean, I had an out-of-body experience, but then we finished it with 2 minutes and 32 degrees. This was the coldest I'd ever. 32 degrees. It was wicked. But I love it, bro. I hit one this morning before I drove over here.
Good for you. Yeah, I got it. I really want. Part of me wants to do it so bad, just because I want to see my wife do it.
Yeah,
and I think she would do it, because beyond the physiological, neurological, like all the benefits, there's also, and I think there's some science that backs this up, your capacity to burn deep brown fat, like organ fat, like stuff that you can't burn superficially like any other way.
Yeah.
You can start tapping into that with doing this on a regular, right?
Well, you made a comment to me that I look lean. I'm like, I'm eating the worst I have in probably a really long time. Maybe
it could be the black shirt. It could be. I haven't seen you in a few months. I don't know.
That could be what it was. But yeah, definitely, it incinerates that brown fat. I mean, your capacity to then do hard things, your capacity to control your nervous system through breathing. Like, there's no negatives that come with it.
Right now.
Other than you're cold. But hey, you know what? You guys are from up north anyway. So
the only experience I have with this is, well, from when I was younger, and the temperature wasn't nearly that. The temperature was maybe 50 degrees. Was jumping into the ocean up in Maine. On vacation as a kid, and just that exhilaration of jumping off a dock in water that you had to swim through to then get back, climb out of the dock, and how exhilarating that was, and how fun it was. And we would do it multiple times, because when you're a kid, you're kind of a Looney Tune anyway. And then later in life, doing some of these mud runs, and you've been on some of these mud runs before, I think, right? Some of these outdoor mud runs, maybe. Well, no, we've done a lot of those over the years.
They've always had that one.
They have those the ice bath section where sometimes the ice bath has been used so much the ice is all kind of gone, but it's still cold water. But sometimes you go in there and it's just a tub of ice, like you can't even move through it. It's so thick, and you are literally, your body. You're hot and sweaty outside in Florida doing this tough run. You're several miles in. Now all of a sudden you're in 40-degree water or so.
Yeah.
And just like your whole body is just like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. That's all you can think about, even though you're consciously jumped in it. And then you get out after probably being in it maybe a minute, tops, maybe a little less, because you have to kind of push through other people in front of you, go underneath like a barrier, and then go through a little further and then climb out the other side. We would go back and do it again. Because it felt
so
look,
good.
You came out and your whole body's tingling. Nothing hurts anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I think we got to do that one more time because we still got like 3 more miles ahead of us to run or whatever and do more stuff. Let's do this again. It's exhilarating. Yeah. And how long does that carry in your day after you do it? Like, do you still kind of like, there's still kind of some like when you work out for 6 to 8 hours after a workout, you're feeling this metabolic after growth, right?
So that's what I've heard Huberman, and I think he had a woman on. I'm forgetting her name. I think first name is maybe Susan. She's kind of the expert that he had on his show. So the dopamine spike is equivalent to, like cocaine and all these, methamphetamines, all these drugs. So it's like a 250 increase in dopamine. The difference with like the drugs versus the ice is drugs quick, boom, and then you fall, right? And then you go on the chase of I need more and more.
Yeah.
6 to 8 hours, I think, is the same same window.
Like a workout.
That sustained, I've noticed it's helped me lower my coffee intake by doing it in the morning. Like you just feel this level of focus, clarity, drive, motivation for 4, 6, 8 hours throughout the day if you do it in the morning. The hot to cold is really cool too. And that's, I have a sauna. So a lot of days I'll try to do 20 minutes in the sauna and then boom, right in the ice. And then usually once a month I'll do like 20 sauna, 3 cold, 20 sauna, 3 cold. So I'll do like an hour, 12 minutes of like just hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And you always end on cold.